Hey there, Yazzers. It's Audrey, and I have been asked to talk a little bit about Brian Wright and our relationship and his work and his life and why Young Artist Showcase is dedicated to his memory. And let me start with how we met. And I met Brian when he was working with Tina McPherson, who was a former pupil of mine at that time, and he was choreographing for her, and apparently I think we met in University of Delaware a long time ago, so I have a hard time remembering. But after that, I saw him at a training camp that Michael Weiss was at, and I'd been working with Mike for a long time at that point. But Michael was not working with Brian yet. And Brian and I just hit it off at the camp. We were at the OTC in Colorado Springs. And I'll never forget the incident because we were at the cafeteria, and we were getting breakfast like you do. And Brian dropped his toast. He couldn't figure out how to do the toaster. It was one of those things that goes around and around. You had to put the bread in at the right time, and it came around on the other side. And I had to go over there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's totally incompetent with the cooking. What is this? He's a gay man. Why can't he do it? And he looked at me and goes, you know what? I might be a gay man, but I'm still a man. And at that point, yeah, we were good friends. And we had many adventures together. We got to travel to internationals together. It was so much fun. And he became a huge part of my life as a coach and as a friend and as a mentor. He always believed in me. Michael hadn't really hit it big yet, and he wasn't as successful as I thought he could be. And Brian always encouraged me. He said, you can do this. The two of you are unstoppable. Just believe in yourself and don't let them, whoever they are, slow you down or put you down. So we started with, his first program with Michael was Santana. And I thought that was a groundbreaking piece for Mike. A lot of, some of the blue hairs didn't like it, and Mike skated it rather poorly at Skate Detroit. And a couple of people said, you're ruining his career. What are you doing? You've got to have him skate to something classical like Swan Lake. And I just knew that wasn't Mike. So Brian and I worked, and Michael had a breakthrough program at Skate America, and I'm going to put that up for you to see in a couple days. I know I look a mess because I cried as we came up to the barrier. Brian was very uncanny in his ability to sense emotions, and particularly mine. And as we approached the barrier, in my head I was thinking, here I am with, this great skater of mine that I've been working with for a long time, and my great friend Brian Wright. And all Brian did was he just touched me on my back. He just sort of patted me on the back and said, this will be great, it'll be fine. And I started to blubber on, and this was probably my first time on national TV, and of course I was just a mess. And so if anybody that was there, like one of the officials kept handing me Kleenex, you can see this hand coming into the picture, and then in the kiss and cry, you'll see at the end, I had carefully crafted my hair, and he goes, and it's just a mess. So I was a mess. But Santana was a hit, and Michael didn't make the team that year. He made the team the next year. And in '99, Brian choreographed the long program Mulan, which you'll also see. And Michael won his first medal at the World Championships. And so that was an historic moment for us. I would like to show you some photographs, and I do want to talk about his trophy that you're going to receive if you are the winner in the Champions Division. This is the Paul McGrath Choreographers of the Year Award, and it was graciously given to us by Brian's family, and the winner of the Champions Division gets this award, and the grassroots kids, you get a different award, which I will talk about later on. But this has significant meaning to it because this was the trophy that Brian was awarded when he was Choreographer of the Year. And I think it's very special, and I thank his family for allowing us to do that. I have some photographs that I want to share with you. Let's see if I'm able to do this. So, oh, you can't see it very well. Here's Brian Wright at a birthday party. I believe it is his 40th, and he's looking good there. I'll skip around a little bit. This was Brian at the AIDS Walk in Washington, D.C., and he wasn't strong enough to make the whole walk on his own, so we put him in a wheelchair and I pushed him, and a couple of times he was screaming at me, you're going to kill me before I make it through the walk. If AIDS doesn't kill me, you will. I do want to talk about his other vice, which was he liked to smoke. And this is the ashtray. We're in the guest room in my house, and I used to keep this ashtray down here. I would bug him about smoking. I said, Brian, you know what? Maybe smoking isn't the best thing for somebody that's HIV positive. And he'd go, oh, sweetie, I should be so lucky to die of lung cancer. So I still have this here. And I want to show you. This is Brian in front of our house with my daughter Kelly and our dog Fudgy, who is a long-haired dachshund, in case some of you are wondering what kind of dog is that. And Fudgy didn't like a lot of people, but Brian swore that Fudgy wouldn't bite him because the dog knew better to bite somebody who's got a communicable disease. Here's Brian outside of our pool with Henry, and of course he's smoking. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this, but I just got back from the beach. I'm kind of tired. This is a great picture. Now this is Brian Wright with Elizabeth Kwan. Let me see if I can do that better. Can't really see. And if you look closely, Elizabeth, this is terrible. I'll do it again. Elizabeth is wearing a sweatshirt. She was going to Novice Ladies to compete at the Nationals, and she's wearing the sweatshirt that I wore when I was a novice lady in 1968. Yes, I am that old. But, you know, she was going, oh, Audrey's doing all this crazy stuff with me, and yet I knew that was a significant moment. He choreographed her short program, which my hair, is a study piece for you all, and it was just phenomenal. I think it still stands as a great novice program. This is our gang in the program, and we all loved it when Brian came to visit. Nick Perner read a letter that Brian had written after one of his visits, and it's very poignant. It's in the videos, so just dig around in there. There's a lot of Brian Wright information in the videos. This is one of my favorite pictures. It is Brian in Saint-Gervais-Oberstdorf. And if you can see, he's trying to climb into these little funny robots. Those of you that have been to Saint-Gervais-Oberstdorf, you know what I'm talking about. But he actually manages to squeeze himself into the robot. And we go racing down the street. Of course, the barkeep that was in charge of these comes running after us, you know, screaming, gendarme, gendarme, arrêtez, blah, blah, blah. So we got in trouble, like you do. And we had such a fun time on this trip. This is Jeff DeGregorio and Peter Opegard and Brian. We had a boys versus girls bowling tournament at Saint-Gervais-Oberstdorf. No, this was in Oberstdorf. And the girls beat the boys. And so they're humiliated and shocked. It was the shock and awe treatment. This was at, we were in Georgetown, and the gang had come in. I had a benefit for Brian. We were trying to raise money to help him pay for his medications. And you'll see Jamie Coffey, Jerry Campbell, Pete Saint Germain, Kelly, myself, and there's Brian in the corner. And this is the famous Audrey gets stuck in the underground parking garage in Georgetown. I think I better stop because I'm running out of time. I will say that he was a model of courage dealing with his illness, and he was an unbelievably gifted choreographer. It's really a shame that he's not with us to enjoy what the Yazzers have created, because he would really be so encouraged and flattered that they're doing this for him. All right, more later.